My name is Nachiket Suktankar. I'm the Managing Director for India for DXC Technology. We're a global technology company. We have about 41,000 people in India. So it's a fairly large enterprise. Um, our objective is to look at changing lives of people in the area of inclusion and diversity by way of skilling. We are a people-based organization, and for us, therefore, skills are everything. We're making sure we've got the people with the right skills, the right kind of work. So, technology, skilling, and inclusion and diversity are the big three themes we focus on in terms of our activities in the corporate social responsibility space. Right? This program, in a way, is unique because it brings together three things. One thing is because of the Digital India initiative, there are a number of government schemes that are in place already around insurance, around access to education, around the different kinds of benefits, etc. Right? So, no use reinventing the wheel. Um, you know, Second is our contribution is really around the intellectual capital around execution and implementation, and also in the area of skilling in terms of technology. Again, we have training in various technologies, and it's very easy for us to extend that to people outside the organization. And the third part is really the Nasscom Foundation. And that's important because while the government has schemes, while we have the process by which we can enable skilling and everything else, Nasscom Foundation allows us to cover the last mile in terms of engaging with actually the beneficiaries on the ground. So between the government initiatives, uh, DXC Technologies, and Nasscom Foundation, we are able to create a much broader impact than if all of us had done it independently or individually. So that's point number one. Right. Second is, as I said, we are very much focused on inclusion and skilling. And we've got two prongs in terms of our approach to this execution. The first one is really around digital enablement. So, as I said, there are so many schemes available from the government, but not too many people are aware of these schemes. Point number one, and how to take advantage of these schemes in the right way. So, we've picked two aspirational, well, actually 20 aspirational districts across 7 states in India. Two of these aspirational districts are in Tamil Nadu. In fact, you see a number of beneficiaries here from those districts. And the first part is really about digital skilling and digital awareness, right? Which is enabling a number of people to take advantage of the schemes. And I was just talking to somebody, and she mentioned how, once people were aware of the medical insurance that the government provided through one of these initiatives, they were able to get a heart surgery done, right? Without that awareness, it would have been, I don't think the surgery would have happened. So that is point number one, right? The second is, direct skilling. So again, you'll have beneficiaries over here who would have done their education, right? But in terms of being relevant to the job market, there is a gap. And that gap could be in terms of technology, like being in Java. Now there's artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, etc., which extends beyond the regular college curriculum, right? And the second is, it's not just about being skilled, but being able to leverage those skills in a professional context. I mean, unless you're able to do an interview properly, unless you know how to interact in a corporate environment, unless you have that confidence, you will not be able to bring your skills to bear, right? So, government schemes, DXC Technology, and Nasscom Foundation coming together to look at two things in aspirational districts. One is absolutely sort of digital inclusion and awareness, and the second in terms of skilling and creating people ready to take on jobs in the corporate world. So delighted to, it's a second year of collaboration, and delighted to say we've really, moved significant numbers in terms of impacting the number of beneficiaries. And for that, I'm not the numbers person. Nidhi is the numbers person. I'm going to ask Neil to talk about the impact in terms of what we've done and also specific to Tamil Nadu, right?
Sure. Thanks, Nachike. Thank you for putting it so well together. Thank you everyone for coming here. And so at Nasscom Foundation, we are committed to ensuring that technology is used rightly for social impact. What we say is tech for good. All the work that we do across the country is all about ensuring that people at the last mile are not left behind. And our partnership with DXC, which just to correct Nachiket is actually 3 years old,
3 years ago. Sorry.
since he's not the number person. You know, it is the whole idea is that in all this time when technology is evolving very fast, people who do not come from such privileged backgrounds are getting left behind. So how do we bridge that gap, right? So as Nachiket mentioned, it is about people who are in the rural areas, since we have a focus on Niti Ayog's aspirational district, and with DXC we are working in 20 of those. Out of that, 2 of them are in Tamil Nadu, with a very clear focus that if we want to work on scale, if we want to have a social impact on scale, we have to align with the overall government strategy, right? So with that as a key thing, we have partnered on ensuring that people at the last mile are not left behind, and with a lot of focus on gender. So women is a key focus out here. More than 50% of our beneficiaries are women. So through, and the other part is where we have skilled the youth, made them ready to be a part of the workforce. Of course, when you skill a person, you make the person employable, you are impacting the whole family. In the last 1 year, we have overall impacted, reach out to over 4 lakh lives across the country. Out of that, a huge number is from Tamil Nadu. We skilled 28,000 youth across the country. More than 50% are from Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry put together. Because we also realize that we've also chosen an area where there is a huge need and opportunity also to take them forward. And even in terms of how we work in the government schemes, as Nachiket was mentioning, in terms of aspirational district, again, more than 50% of our beneficiaries are women. We work with this overall model of digital ambassadors, which are people from the local communities. We train them, we upskill them, we make them into entrepreneurs to actually take this whole program forward, because we are also looking at very sustainable models out here. Again, most of their digital ambassadors that we are talking about, some of them are sitting here today, are women. The whole idea is if you empower women, you empower the family, you empower the community, right? So while men and other genders that are part of this whole story, our focus is a lot on women out here. Um, in terms of our skilling, when we have done, I think more than 13,000 youth have been skilled in tech-enabled areas in Tamil Nadu. Almost 1,000, I think 875 have already been placed out here. When we say placed, they have found employment with one corporate or the other. And we are looking at closing by the end of this financial year, by end of March, about 1,250 students would be placed across Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry. We have partnered with over 90 universities and colleges across the country. Out of that, I think about 48 are in Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry again. And when we partner with the colleges, we also get a kind of a commitment from them. They help us to identify the students who really need the support, right? The idea is not about catering to students who can afford it. The idea is to give opportunities to students who come from financially and socially marginalized background, so that this one skilling upskilling program can actually give them that edge. And as Nachiket mentioned, that we also work with them in terms of interviewing skills, soft skills, ensuring that they are able to be a part of the workforce. Because it is not about only cracking the interview. It is also about being part of the incorporated world. It's adjusting out there, all of that put together. And also since we've been able to, in our digital literacy program, since we are working with on a lot of government schemes, it's again a long-term strategy, because Once you, okay, first step is we make the communities digitally aware and literate. So you equipping them with skills, things that we take for granted. I think some of us just assume that everybody knows how to use internet, how to use WhatsApp, how to use social media, right? We work with the assumption, and of course there is a need assessment done, that there are enough people in the rural communities who do not firstly have smartphones, secondly they do not know how to use digital technology. So we actually take that first step and ensuring that, of course, again, as a focus on women, we digitally empower the communities, and then we actually teach them that how can they unlock government schemes, because both at the state and the central level there are hundreds of government schemes. So we actually work with them. So it's a long term strategy. Once you've given them a tool, then how can they actually, they don't need to be dependent on us in the long run, right? They understand how to apply for government schemes. They understand that where do they have to go. A lot of people may not be able to walk for miles to do that. Then how, through accessing internet and digital technology, they can actually apply for government schemes, what's the process, all of that. So the whole idea is, whether you look at the digital literacy program or you look at the skilling program, it is to actually make people independent, economically and socially independent, so that there is no longer dependence on any of these programs. And yes, so very proud to really share that we have been able to achieve these numbers, impacting 4 lakh lives, and with more than 50% as women. And we really, I think we will have a few stories coming up. Some of them we really would like you to hear from them, right, rather than from us, some of these experiences and stories. Yes. If anybody has questions, happy
Questions?
to take them.
How the beneficiaries are being selected?
Sure. So, for the digital literacy program, we work at the local level. We recruit, firstly, we recruit the digital ambassadors. These are people from the community, so we don't get external resources. We make sure that we empower the community itself. So, we work with the local organizations to identify women. We also work with district collectors. They help us to identify the right kind of digital ambassadors. Once we have identified the digital ambassadors, they work in the communities. They go from house to house, they do community meetings, they invite them to the centers. So it's basically through the local resources. Our team works through the local resources. From the skilling point of view, we do tie-ups with colleges and universities, and we work with the college authorities to help us to identify youth students who come from marginally, because we do verify that. We have to ensure that they come from economically and socially marginalized backgrounds. So we work with both communities, local communities and colleges and universities to identify the right uh, beneficiaries.
Are you working with the self-help groups?
Yes, so in the digital literacy program, since we do a lot of work with women out there, so what we do is that at the local level, we kind of reach out to local subgroups. So when it comes to self-help groups and all of that, we reach out to them. We hold community meetings with them. We do digital awareness with them. We do digital literacy with them. So we work with the local self-help groups out here. Right.
I think.
Sorry, you wanted to say something?
No, I was saying the one important aspect that maybe would have been missed in the narrative is the digital resource centers. These are physical
Yeah.
locations, where you actually can get people together. And we've got computers there, internet there. So if you don't have a smartphone, you can still access the government schemes, right? And so the digital ambassadors are associated with the digital resource center as well, which is the physical facility.
Yeah, I think a very important point out here, because I think this becomes a base in every community. You know, that's a touch point where all the digital ambassadors come, where even a lot of youth who are going to schools but they don't have access to internet, they come to these digital resource centers and access, get trained, all of that. And even women, like, that's where they learn actually how to go on the internet, how to unlock all of that.
Digital resource center. How is it located? What is the
So we usually, in most places, we use the center. I'm sorry.
how it is team splitting? Now,
So every district, every aspirational district has one digital resource center, and we try and keep it as central to the district as possible. And that's why when we select the digital ambassadors, they are across different blocks so that the reach from there is enough, right? So every digital, so and these digital ambassadors come to the center, they bring in people to the center, all of that, yes.
beneficiaries, any age categories?
In digital resource centers, it could be from children to elderly. We cut across all age groups because we are making the youth and the students digitally literate. We are making the women and the adults digitally literate. We are working with the elderly also out here, right? So because a lot of elderly cannot come to the center, so our digital ambassadors go there. So we cut across, and of course, in the skilling program, since we work with the colleges and universities, it is usually between the age group of 20 to 25 is what we work with. I'm sorry?
District headquarters is all.
Digital resource centers are basically in the rural area, but close to the headquarters. So very close to the district collector's office or something like that. But it is where there's maximum population and maximum reach. So we have very strategically identified these places where there is maximum reach. People will not have problem traveling to the digital resource centers, and it is able to also cover the maximum geography. No, actually, we don't bring the people. We do spread the message around. Our digital ambassadors sometimes work with them and facilitate that. That if there is somebody who needs to come to the center, what we also do is to all the digital ambassadors, we give them a tab. So these tabs can be taken to different villages. So in case they want to unlock a government scheme or they want to learn something out there, so their digital ambassadors can carry the tab to the resources, to the communities in the different villages, so that the reach is wider.
We have a master traders.
Yeah, they're more like master trainers.
I think we've got a couple of them here.
Yeah.
How many
Every district has about 45 to approximately 45 digital ambassadors, and every center has about 8 to 10 tabs. So gets revolved between different. Yeah, it varies from one center to the other. Yeah, it also depends on the need, all of that put together. Yes.